I am first and foremost, I have to say, I am a massive fan of Eddie Howe and the job that he's doing at Newcastle. I think it's been brilliant, and I think it's disgusting what your board is trying to do, because we know secretly they're waiting for Eddie Howe to slip up so that they can bring in a Mourinho type. The last 2 seasons, people were telling me before the game that, Tottenham have conceded 10 goals, we've conceded 1. Put the goal scores aside for a sec. What has been most impressive about this Newcastle team is the intensity, is the aggression coming out of your midfield, and the way that people can't cope. That's why a couple seasons ago, we were confident that Arsenal would not get a result at St. James's Park. In that process, since last season, we brought in Postecoglou, who is bringing in AngeBall. And AngeBall is domination in the location. That's what we do. We play people off the park. I was expecting to see Bruno, aka Mike Tyson, Joe Linton, the Gladiator, aka Spartacus, and all your other cronies, Gordon, Barnes, put up their fists and shot and have a good fight. What turned out was Tottenham had you guys spinning around like Kylie Minogue. Now, look, granted, football's all about getting the 3 points. I know you guys are not shameless enough to say, you know what, Dej, we just got the 3 points, ha, ha, ha. You wanted to dominate us. And I'm not buying this rubbish from Newcastle fans who've been messaging me directly all weekend, and I've been replying to them one by one. Last season, you sat back and you hit us on the counter. This season, you tried to go toe-to-toe with my club, and you couldn't. You got absolutely slapped up. We did the domination in the location. Had Odebear headed the ball, would that have been your plan? Had Madders got it in the top corner, had that been your plan? Romero not been ruled out for offside, your plan? Pedro hitting the crossbar, was that also part of the plan? Mate, it was, for me, I saw enough foundation, enough AngeBall. We restricted you to about 4 chances, by the way, to know that the future is bright for my club. So yes, I come here knowing that we lost, but no Newcastle fan here or abroad can shake their bum violently for that performance. That performance was dusty. One of the dustiest performances I've ever seen in my life. And finally, I knew we were going to do domination in the location, because I did an up watch last weekend and I saw how you guys played against Bournemouth. You guys were lucky. Newcastle fans, shake your bum all day long, but if you keep on this trajectory, it's not going to be a good season for you, mate. It's not going to be a good season. So you might be smiling now, but I want to see the same energy and the same grin come 38 games at the end of the season. And that's my piece. And to be honest, I've come here because I want to meet genuine Newcastle fans. What I need to hear from the panel tonight is, Dej, you're absolutely right, mate. We were dog crap. You played us off the park, but, luck was on our side, lady luck, and we got the 3 points. And that's my thoughts.
Okay.
Disrespect over. You make it too easy to counter-attack against yourselves. And he doesn't learn. He only has a plan A. End of discussion. You could dominate the whole match. It doesn't matter. Your attack is not strong enough anymore to break down a low block or a mid block. And you are just playing this gun-ho football, which is lovely to watch as a neutral.
Wolfie, you surprised me, and I think we're gonna need more time, me and you. First and foremost, the goal that Isak scored from Joe Linton through ball was almost akin to the through ball that what's his name? Is it Dunk? Threaded in for the Brighton goal against Arsenal. So just put some respect on your player and the ball. It was a quality ball, well seen. What we do with our football is we do what I said, and I didn't stutter. We do domination in the location. And the thing is, once the Tottenham players, we swarm you. And what we saw, what I was surprised about was the big game players. And I know, granted, you haven't started the season the way you would have liked, but I really didn't see any muscle. You know what I mean? You huffed and puffed, you got it over the line, and well done for that. But you didn't really do much. Yes, you created the chance and you scored. The difference between Spurs, and I think Daz said it right, and Newcastle on the weekend was Isak. You had a striker. We had bloody Kulusevski, mate, up front at number 9, and you could see in the first half that he was struggling to turn right. He looked like an oil tanker trying to turn to face the ball. Do you know what I'm saying? Had that been Solanke, had that been Richarlison, I think it's a different game. And what can we do? We're not going to go over spilt milk. We didn't have strikers in place. Had Van de Ven been there, Isak doesn't score. If we can dominate Newcastle at home the way that we dominated you, and I respect Newcastle. I got Newcastle to be in my definitely top 5 this season. I respect your team. For us to do what we did with no striker on the pitch is pretty damn impressive, in my opinion. And Wolfie, let's be real, you were cacking yourself during the game, and the only reason why you've come on tonight's show is because you got it over the line, mate.
Deji, do you think that Solanke is going to be the answer though? Because I know he had a good season at Bournemouth last season. I'm not knocking him, but it's a lot of money to pay for him, isn't it? And are you convinced? I mean, I'm basing this off a 63 million Alexander Isak.
They've overpaid, so they've overpaid massively.
Solanke's no Harry Kane. He doesn't need to be. What we need is a half decent striker, someone who could just put the ball in the back of the net. The reason why we went out for Solanke was because we were putting literally, balls on a plate for Richarlison, and he was missing the goal. It was harder to miss than to score. So we said, we just need someone who can put the ball in the back of the net. And in the current global market of strikers, Solanke was available. Solanke will get 15 plus goals at Spurs. We create many chances.
In all comps?
15 Premier League goals.
Premier League goals?
At Spurs. We create that amount. Bruv, we've created the second most chances already after 3 games.
Congratulations. How many points you got?
But Wolfie, look, let's not be disingenuous and let's not pretend that you've never kicked the ball before. Let's just be honest. What do we say about strikers who lose form? What do we look out for? We look for, are they getting in the right positions? Yeah? Because we know if you're getting in the right positions, over time, sooner or later, they'll start to put the ball in the back of the net. What's happened with Spurs so far in these 3 games is simply we just haven't put the ball in the back of the net. So sooner or later, we will start scoring. And when we start scoring, we start getting the W's and we will fly up the table. And that is the promising thing. Whereas Arsenal have not looked convincing so far this season. Nottingham Forest, I'm not going to lie, they're one of the dustiest teams I've ever seen in my life. And, Newcastle haven't been great so far this season. Man United is probably the worst team in the Prem at the moment.
I agree with you.
Where you would be worried. You Spurs fans and Spurs, we're not worried. Just keep cooking, and then,
how can you not be worried? How can you not be worried? You couldn't beat Leicester City. You couldn't beat Leicester City, the team that has the most defensively minded manager who would have been happy to lose to you 1-0. Yeah, you let them score. You couldn't beat Leicester. Everton Everton are probably down there with Man U. Yeah. You're deluded if you think Solanke wasn't having a purple patch last season. I've watched his brother play, man, when he was in the Championship. He banged the goals in. He struggled with Bournemouth in the Premier League and he had a purple patch last season, and you've bought him on a purple patch.
Is Solanke better than Richarlison?
Yeah,
that's got nothing to do with it. That's got nothing to do with this grand illusion that you're building about.
My friend in the middle, thank you for saying yes. You're a Chelsea fan. Do you know Richarlison got 12 Premier League goals and he's not great? And we're saying that Solanke's better than him. So what is the outrageous comment I've made? If Solanke is better than Richarlison, surely he will score more goals in a team that creates pretty much the most chances in the Prem.
Who's better, Richarlison or Chris Wood?
Richarlison is better than Chris Wood.
Okay, so how did Chris Wood score more goals last season?
I'm not gonna lie. If it wasn't for the invitation of Pete, I would not know you. Okay, I don't really stream below 10.
Oh, it doesn't mean we can't debate the point here.
Below 10, you know just by answering that. With the greatest respect, we don't stream below 10th. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and we're ninth. We're ninth.
He's going to made it.
Mind the gap, bro. Mind the gap. Yeah.
And he's not going to be that guy. I'm hearing murmurs from various Tottenham fans saying that they're not happy with him and they're not sure if he's going to hit the heights. Where are you at?
I think a lot of Spurs fans, we are, whether we like it or not, we're a bit overreactionary. I think we need to calm down. Maddison is quality. If we are panicking about Maddison, then what are Arsenal fans doing about Odegaard? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, Odegaard has done absolutely nothing so far this season, and they don't seem to be panicking half as much as the Spurs fan base. I think Maddison will come good. I think he showed what he's capable of. The problem with us is he had such a good start after Kane left that we're holding him up to those 10 out of 10 standards. And when you drop from 10 out of 10, it just doesn't look great. And that's just typical Spurs. I think Maddison will be fine. We don't need him to be some sort of Zinedine Zidane. We just need players to just do their job properly. And I think in the system that we play, we do need him. When Maddison is on form, he's very, very difficult to stop. And he does seem like someone who is a man that is determined to kind of prove that he's legit. So I think Maddison will be fine. I'm not worried about Maddison. Look, our team is fine. Look at the way that we've played. We've outplayed every team we've played so far this season. We will continue to outplay pretty much every team apart from Liverpool and Man City. So for me, the future is bright. I've gone round to different Chelsea fans doing £100 bets. I'm not doing it now. That Spurs will finish above Chelsea. That's how confident I am. So let's not go there, my good
That's
friend.
your trophy, isn't it? That's what you boys celebrate, finishing above us.
No, we don't give a damn about you guys. We actually want you guys to come back. Obviously, once Daddy left the building, you guys fell apart. You know what I'm saying? When you guys come back, that would be amazing. I think where I might surprise you all, and I'm going to put it out there, I might be deluded for this. Legitly, this is probably a deluded take.
Just this.
I'm not sure about Liverpool. Ooh. Not because Liverpool's not a good team. I'm not sure that Arne Slot is legit. And so far, we can't really measure that Liverpool team because they've not played anyone of substance yet. But let's see how Liverpool do when they play Newcastle. Let's see how they do when they play Villa. Let's see how they do when they play Chelsea. And then I'll be able to judge. But I think Arne Slot has had a good start. And I think he could fall off because the Prem is brutal. And so far, so good for him. But I don't know if he's got the minerals to sustain himself. So for me, the surprise one that I think we should be all looking out for is Liverpool falling off. It might not be straight away, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did happen.
3 games in. He's had a full season. Where are you with the project at the moment? Can you see something positive down the road, even though we're only 3 games into this season?
100%. I love Haas. We're bedrooms on this thing, but there's a lot of people here who are reminding me of Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles in terms of their sunglasses. Do you get what I'm saying? So I'm just going to explain to you what I see from our club moving forward. So for me, you know, none of us saw and none of us here could have predicted what Pochettino did with our squad. Let's just be clear. We were just wanting a change, and Pochettino surprised us and he overachieved with that squad. And it was a disgrace that he wasn't given the tools to get it over the line. And also because our fan base was so trophy at all costs, Daniel Levy went and brought in the trophy winners, yeah? In the Conte and Mourinho. And for me, we regressed as a club. And for me personally, I would rather see Spurs on the front foot than on the back foot, like the way that we were. And I think for me, what summed up some of the disgraceful performances under those managers was when we go to the Emirates and we had no teeth, we had no balls. We literally pulled down our pants and said, Arsenal, slap us, please, slap us. Yeah? This time round. So let me tell you what Postecoglou is doing. And sometimes we have to just be a bit patient. Rome wasn't built in a day. Sava knows this.
Was it built in 24 years?
I'm just talking about Postecoglou. I'm not talking about the overall picture. Okay, we'll get into that. I'm just asked about the first 3 games, but we'll deal with that after. Rome wasn't built in a day. What I'm hearing from the Spurs fan base is now we need to be winning now. Under Klopp, it took Klopp 4 seasons to get it right at Arsenal. That's when he started. Season 1, season 2, he still wasn't right, but he was implementing his system. He was implementing his style of play. If you look at Arteta, same thing. First 2 seasons, it was rubbish. Then season 3, 5th, and then the rest is history. 4 and 5, they've got second place finishes. What Postecoglou is doing is he's prioritizing. He has a project. It is a project, and he has a process. Yeah. First things first, boys. Saba has. We need to understand our style of play. That's the first thing, and it needs to become part of the player's DNA. Once you've got it as part of our DNA, then you can start to do the adaptations, what people are looking for, which is drop the line, bring this player on, all of that. But that comes after you've cemented the system and the style of play. So what have I seen in the first 3 games? I have seen our team completely play the 3 teams we've had off the park. Let's be real. The last 2 games at St. James's Park was a disgrace. Forget the scoreline. We were bullied on the pitch. On Sunday, I watched our team bully Newcastle. Whether you like it or not, we bullied them. The issue was, unfortunately, we brought a striker in. Unlike Arsenal and some of these other teams where you can see what they obviously need and they didn't do it, we brought in a striker. It's not Postecoglou's fault that he got injured after game 1. Come on, that's not his fault. We all know, had Solanke been on the pitch against Newcastle, he scores. We created that many chances.
Like he did against Leicester.
Bro, we look.
Like he did against Leicester.
Give him a chance. It's his first game, bro.
So this would have been his second game. Where's the guarantee?
It's no Harry Kane. But let me look. Allow me, Saba, because you're gonna do your.
Yeah, sorry. You've got stop saying facts.
Let me land.
Yeah, sure, but stop saying.
We're minimizing the amount of opportunities that other teams have. We need to fix up the lapse in concentration because the goals were lapses in concentration, in my opinion. They could have been stopped. The domination that we're doing in the location means that we're creating more chances to score. We just need to finish off our dinner. And I use the analogy. When a striker is not scoring goals, what do you look out for? You look to see, are they in the right place? Are they making the right runs? If they're not scoring goals, but they're in the right place and not making runs, then you know it's not a disaster because sooner or later, it's going to land on their feet and they're going to put the ball in the back of the net. Are Tottenham doing the right things? Yes, they are. Are they creating chances? Yes, they are. Are they minimizing the opportunities for the opposition? Yes, they are. What we needed to do is just score and put the ball in the back of the net. That was what was missing from Newcastle. That was what was missing from Leicester. Sooner or later, the boys are going to get it right. That's why I'm saying, why are people huffing and puffing? It's not bad. We're playing well. We're not looking like Man United.
No, we're not.
We're not looking like them, are we? We're not looking rubbish. Do you get what I'm saying? So a matter of time, the boys will kick on and give them the chance. But Postecoglou's only been there a year and 2 months. And I always use this other analogy. If it's good enough for you, it's good enough for me. Man United, with all that stink, are still keeping Eric Ten Hag in charge. And he's rubbish. Arteta, this time in his reign at Arsenal should have been gone. But they stuck with it. And now look, they are enjoying. You can't say you haven't seen our team progress. And for me, the biggest marker of the progression, forget Leicester, you can have those sorts of games. Forget Bournemouth or forget even the Everton game. We bullied Newcastle. I like to see Liverpool, Arsenal bully that Newcastle team. For me, physically, we couldn't compete. The intensity was too much. Physically, we couldn't cope. And I saw our team cope. And I saw our team bully them. And I saw our team, unfortunately, not being able to take chances because we had no striker, for crying out loud. No Richarlison, no Solanke. So look, it's not perfect, but it's an improvement. And surely as Spurs fans, that's what we want. An improvement. And lastly, this is my last bit for Saba. You're all shaking your bums violently because we had a good start last season and we faded. I'd rather have a measured start to this season and finish strong. If we finish strong, there's nothing stopping us from being top 4. And if we finish top 4 this season, in my opinion, that's progress and that's a good season. So why are we all shaking our bums for? Why are we all getting our knickers in the twist? Give the guy a chance. Let's see what he's got. People are talking like it's the end of the world after game 3. Calm down.
In terms of Odegaard, I like him. I like the fact that he's willing to do 1v1. I know he's young, and we can work on his end product. But in terms of what he's thinking, in terms of the threat, he's more of a threat than Timo Werner. Timo Werner is just like, you might as well just shoot yourself in the head. North London derby, they don't have Basmati Rice. And they were saying that Basmati was the reason why we got the draw at the Emirates. Look, if Van der Ven is there and Solanke's there, I think we could win the game. Probably 2-1. Arsenal will have opportunities, but I think the key for me is the concentration. I think the stuff that you pulled out, Saba, the stuff that you were saying, we're not busting the gut. If we start busting the gut, maybe it's not as bad as it looks, but we need our players to be they need to be switched on. For me, more concerning than anything else is the lapse in concentration. Footballers are supposed to be concentrating for the full time they're on the pitch, and having moments like this is just really, it's rubbish, really. You know, top players don't do that. So for me, I think we can squeeze out a 2-1 win. I think just the motivation, the kind of the atmosphere, we're a home crowd, and also they should be hurting if they're professional players. They should be hurting from this defeat. And at least the very minimum, they should be giving us a draw against Arsenal. But I'm going for the win.